foot fetishes like were a thing.
The foot doesn't go all the way up your ass or anything like that.
Not with that attitude, Nick.
Welcome to the
I was
Iron
like,
Giant review.
Make some popcorn, get yourself a snack. Just some idiots who don't know jack. Our opinions are out of whack. Get ready, let's go. It's the Real Stupid Review Show. And that's that.
Oh god, I don't know what's going on. Oh fuck. Okay, so what are your favorite like holiday related sweets? Oh shit, I forgot my light.
As a Mexican, I wonder if Eddie or you is, know what this is. Pan de Reyes. Do you guys know what that is? Where it's this giant circle bread with little tiny plastic babies. And the thing is, basically, you find you're supposed to cook a meal or whatever, and it's supposed to the stupidest tradition. Bro. Yeah, you're supposed to throw a whole party, but there's a chance that you don't find it, but it is in there, and then you just choke to death on a plastic baby. And speaking of choking on plastic babies, welcome to the Real Stupid Review Show. I am here with Izzy, Nick, Cody, and Eddie with his mandate for the very, very emotional, beautiful, amazing classic animation film, The Iron Giant. Eddie, why did you recommend this for us, and why?
Anybody that's ever watched The Iron Giant ever is most likely going to tell you that they watched it as a small child, loved it, and cried at the end of it. Yeah, we had a couple of people in this group that haven't watched it, and I was like, what the fuck? The collector's box edition of The Iron Giant is at my apartment right now, but it's a whole giant box with art book, little figurine of Giants, and obviously the DVD. But I kept seeing it in Fry's, and when they finally decided to pick it up.
Well, Eddie, you mentioned how you have a DVD of memorabilia. Did you enjoy the film? Just initial non-spoiler review.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ. Why did you ask me again?
You talked about your DVD that you bought at Fry's. That's not a review.
Like, it starts off as it's like a 50s like sci-fi horror flick, and like, but still caters itself like a kid's animated film. Even now, the animation still holds up. The story still holds up. I mean, I fucking love it.
So I watched Onward earlier this year. Made me sort of feel bad about the current like animation standards, because this was so much more like alive and engaging. Groot is obviously like a super easy to love character. He's like adorable right from the beginning. They do a good job of blending like the CG and the animation in together. Aside from the creepy eyes, Hog was also a compelling main character. I laughed a surprising number of times. I didn't think it was going to be this funny. Very good. I'm surprised I hadn't seen it earlier. This would probably have been like a favorite of mine growing up if I had seen it as a kid.
Oh, speaking of that, I mentioned before, I write haiku reviews on my letterbox. Like, I feel like I might as well just start off with that, no? One may discover inside the age atomic warmth within metal. Like Cody, I never saw this growing up. This was a first time watch for me. This has heart, and I kind of really enjoyed that, especially because you kind of have that old Cold War, like communist sphere little thing going on that I really like. And that kind of just involves about you not judging. I mean, I like when like a movie can be enjoyed by a child and an adult. Like, you both get something different out of it. And I think stuff like that is good because, I mean, stories are supposed to like, they usually impart something, right? I was surprised I hadn't watched it as a kid. I would have loved it back then. And I still liked it a lot. I had a blast watching it.
I haven't seen it before. I know about it. I've known of it for a long time. It's just one of those movies that just did not happen. Relationship that builds up with Hogarth and his mom is pretty good, because a lot of single moms and kids, I'm sure, can relate to that, which is kind of weird that they keep picking on single moms. I don't think that every giant robot or killer doll should attack a kid, single mom. I think that's rude. It's general. To a young viewer, it could be considered really like scary to a point, because some of the stuff that they discuss and they do in the movie is pretty like thrilling. So it's something that's pretty daring that you'd only find in like those older cartoons, which is really cool. Like, seeing this made me really want to share it with my kids. Like, The kids really liked it. They really enjoyed it. And I think it's a great movie that really holds up, just like Cody was saying. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
Us as your co-host. You don't have to call us your kids.
Like it always slips my mind. I was like, oh, I did see Iron Giant. Oh, I really did like this film, but for whatever reason, it just never really ingrained in my brain. It's kind of resonate a lot with this world, with the characters, and you kind of connect with the overall theme and message, and you know what it means to have a soul, good, evil. It still has a fun time through that journey. Like it's still, for a kids movie, like there's plenty of jokes, plenty of cool visuals. It's really, really fun, but it balances all of that with still something that's a lot deeper, which makes it, I think, in my opinion, a movie that should be more memorable. And I hopefully from now I won't forget why it's such a masterpiece, because it is, and I look forward to discussing with you guys, but it is phenomenal.
Weird thing before we gloss over it. Okay, this guy, the other movies Brad Bird has directed, Ratatouille, Incredibles 2, those make
Love
sense.
it.
He's also directed the best Mission Impossible movie.
Actually, that was amazing.
What?
If George Miller can direct
with
Happy Feet and Mad Max, I mean, Brad Bird can do whatever he wants. I say, go real cutesy family and then do some action shit. Like that's, you gotta balance it out a little bit.
Blow shit up.
I don't have kids that I know of, but I would assume it'd be a kind of weird conversation with a lot of the themes in this film, where the whole idea of when they're accepting the fact they're going to get nuked, and they have the in the school classroom of like, the bomb is coming, get under your desk, kiss your ass goodbye. Like
that's what made this very deep. Yeah, that made this deep.
Without warning.
Atomic Holocaust!
But how does one survive an atomic attack?
Hey, did you hear about crazy Mr. Stutz? He says his boat ran into a sea monster.
I heard it was sunk by a meteor.
No.
It was a metal meteor. It ate his boat. My dad says it's just an old...
any of those things.
What would you know about it, Poindexter?
Hogarth! Shh! Don't make me come over there.
Hands over your head, deep low to the ground. Time to duck and cover, the bombs are coming down.
Now, was that like a conversation you had to have, and especially with the later themes of like what it means to have a soul? Like, is that something you had to kind of stop and overtly explain?
They did it as well as sorry to cut you off, Nick, but they did it as well as a kid needs to understand what a soul is. They explained it in the language that a child would understand.
Honestly, I think that explaining it would be very difficult, to be honest with you. Like the way that they were talking about, like essentially nuclear war and getting under your desk, when it's like, I enjoy the part where at the end he's like, we should get under our desks, where Shooter McGavin's like, get under the desk, he's like, that doesn't do anything.
Movies like this are made to be accessible to kids. I don't think this is a movie that was made for kids. With all the jokes that are put in there, with the like talking about Russia, talking about the Cold War, talking about Sputnik, those were not lines in there that were for children.
Also, can we just take like a couple minutes to just appreciate how hot Hogarth's mom was?
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
2D drawing, Eddie.
Jennifer
Calm
Aniston.
down your thirst. The voice, I will give you that. Jennifer Aniston.
Speaking of thirst, I mean, I find it amazing how we watch this show and we're referencing an alcoholic through the first 30 minutes of the film. Like the guy on the boat, where it's like, the only thing he ran
the sailor,
into was a
dude.
case
I love the sailor.
It came from outer space. I saw it. And it was headed toward land. I called the government in Washington. Maybe it was a Sputnik or an invader from Mars. That's what it is. It's an invader from Mars. A spaceship of some kind. An unidentified flying object.
Unidentified? Well, knowing you, Earl, I'd say it was either whiskey or beer.
Hey, I saw it too.
I rest my case.
That whole diner scene was perfect. Like from that scene, we meet Dean, we meet his mom, we meet Hogarth. Like we get a lot of their character development in that, and the dudes that are roasting the old sailor, and when Dean sticks up for him, fantastic.
Yeah, there's like a couple like super iconic scenes, like when he's like, "Welcome to downtown Coolsville," like the way he's acting all weird. I didn't even realize it was like that scene was from this. Like
where that what is it? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Leonardo DiCaprio. I'll put it in the edit.
Buddy.
Oh, dude, it's real good. You should watch the movie.
You haven't seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, bro?
Oh, it's a 3-hour movie. It is.
It's so good. It flies by. You get Margot Robbie
flies
feet.
By like damn. Like I might as well go on a 10-mile walk.
Gerardo.
Hey, it's a Quentin Tarantino movie. You expect shots of feet.
So you're allowed to talk about feet, but Eddie can't talk about anime girls? I think there's something wrong with you.
Whoa, there's a difference here. Okay. One of them is art. The other one is anime. Okay. So, you know, Margot Robbie feet.
Very
fantastic. No. Like 4 people line up and just leave their feet out.
Which means it's time to reel it in. There's the graphic. Everybody put on your hats.
There's not too many movies that are out there that get me to, as a grown man, cry. Literally at the exact same time frame every single time I watch this movie, I sit there and I just quietly sob to myself. Yeah, no, I love this movie. I have a collector's edition of it. I watch it once every 3 years. I'm definitely going to show it to my kids like Nick did yesterday. Or whenever you watched it. 5 out of 5. If I can give it a higher rating, I would.
Honestly, robots, monsters, lasers, single parents. I mean, like, what doesn't this movie have? It's awesome. I would definitely have given it 5 stars. I would say 4 stars, just because it has been done before, but it hasn't been done with Groot. I mean, that must have just skyrocketed his career, and he must have done millions of voiceovers and different dialogues and stuff, and I definitely respect it for that. But yeah, 4 stars.
A lot of my favorite movies are actually animated, so I'm still surprised I haven't watched this. I love stuff that has like messages, that has heart, you know, like where you could see a lot of like love goes into it. And if I would have watched this as a kid, I could have 100% seen me having like a super, super strong attachment to it. But I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4 stars.
Very much like the movie. Surprised I hadn't seen it earlier. I think it definitely deserves its cult classic status. The like tensions between the United States and Russia, I was not expecting that going in, and I thought that was done very well and woven into such like a whimsical story. Very much like Hogarth is the main character. A lot of times the main character in these like movies based on like children are very boring, but they did a good job early on to set up a lot of character traits of him in a really natural way, and I think that paid off near the end when you start having these things loop around. I do stand by a lot of the emotional impact being undercut in the end of the movie, which did knock it down a little bit for me to a 1 out of 5. I'm kidding. It's a 4 out of 5.
No, well, what can be said that hasn't been said, whether it is drifting cars on the hard, gritty streets of LA or killing aliens as Riddick, Vin Diesel always brings a tear to my eye, and especially so as the lovable Frankenstein robot, the Iron Giant. Something that I really appreciated was the balance of humor and tension. Like everyone's saying, like it's really hard, or they were kind of surprised by like how many times you would get a laugh, but like they were able to do that simultaneously by ramping up like, oh, what's going to happen next? And the film, again, this balance we're discussing of what is a kid's movie or whether it's like talking down to kids, but it respects their intelligence where it's not oversimplifying things while still keeping things fun, but creating this much deeper narrative that makes it a classic for years to come. And like I said, Vin Diesel, with his very, very few lines, was able to bring tears to my eyes. Eddie, your fingers point like you want to say something. What do you want to say, Eddie? Thank you, Eddie. We'll see you guys real soon. It's like a milkshake with different ingredients. It's like you like peanut butter jelly, you like lasagna. Let's put it in a blender. And it's like, I don't have the most picky palate, so I'll eat trash, but it's not going to be my preferred item on the menu. So you blend that bad boy up, and you give me the sludge, and I slurp it down. I'm like, yeah.